Hello and welcome back to the Impression Wiz channel. I'm your host, the Impression Wiz, and welcome back to Pester Quest, the beta second half, where we're doing all the female routes, and specifically we're on Treizi's route, which has been very full of actual, story. We only had, one choice, and it was in the last episode so far. And things have gone so far with, just story that I needed to pause. Because where we last left off, Treizi was doing, a mock trial like she does in Homestuck itself. But she got into the fact that she's trying to change things from within the, major things of the Alternian law systems. And that actually caused a flashback and going into this weird hallway that we've been in a couple of times, both parts of my playthrough so far. And, the biggest interest here is that Treizi came along this time around, for one, and two, she's believing the story of having friends that have tried and failed, and she's saying that she has a way to succeed. And that's where we're, picking up. I hope I did a good recap for that one, because I felt like this one needed at least somewhat of a recap. Because, oh boy. Okay. But let's get back into it. And what good did it do? Honestly, you doubt that intelligence or competence has much to do with it at all. You think about the drones you barely avoided at Karkat's Hive, and your brief exposure to what this planet calls a criminal justice system. For as violent and unjust as things could be on Earth, at least there was some pretext that the system existed to serve the people. Here, it's just murder. You aren't sure that a system that anyone can salvage. Her smile melts into a frown, and you really should ask what this troll's name is. Heh. Treizi Pyrope. Treizi doesn't sound particularly happy as she slumps against the debilitating extent wall and slides down into a crouch, her face in a mask of barely contained emotion. I can tell why Karkat would like you. You're very depressing. You chuckle and sit down a respectable distance away from her. You definitely don't mean to be depressing, but you have a knack for digging up drama. The hazards of forging new friendships, you guess. If Vriska saw us right now, she'd... I really hate that she writes in leet speak, and it's hard to read sometimes. She'd laugh herself into an aneurysm. Treizi knows Vriska? That's one way to put it. We were practically sisters before she broke the rules and ruined everything. How do you know her? You played some flarp, killed some kids, felt guilty about it, threw Vriska's mom into a volcano. Wow, you really have gotten around. What's a mom? How does she do the question mark with her mouth? You think that was just about the saddest thing you ever heard get said if you didn't already know what a Lucis was. You killed her Lucis? So she's... That explains why she's been messaging me. Treizi is laughing, but it doesn't sound like any laughter you've ever heard. I can't fucking believe it! Circuit figures her shit out just in time for me to have my own identity crisis! And I bet she thinks everything's supposed to be fine between us now just because... You wanna know a secret, Cherry Cheeks? Might as well add another one to the pile, you say? Since it's been growing. I have no idea what I'm doing. I never have. And now I don't think I ever will. Wow, that's bleak. You guess you're sorry? It's not your fault. You haven't told me anything I didn't already know. Her lips are trembling as she reaches behind her and pulls out a box of chalk, and then removes a red piece. You think this is a weird time for an artistic expression, but... Okay, she's eating it. I mean, I know she would have eaten it, but it's still funny. Treizi offers you a piece. You don't want to be rude, but you also really don't want to eat chalk. She shrugs and crunches on it like unshelled lobster. You guess you have to take that in stride. The more important thing is that Treizi is inconsolably sad, which sucks because you're the only person in a position to console her. Honestly, I don't know if it's the right choice, but I've been in a really huggy mood lately because of all things going on. I'm always a huggy person, to be fully honest. So I'm going to give her a hug. If it's the right choice, then good. If it's not the right choice, then I'm sorry. You don't know how to fix this. You don't know how to make Treizi feel better. The best you can think to do is put your arms around her, despite the fact that you're a complete stranger who basically just kidnapped her. She welcomes the embrace. I hated her for what she did. Not to me, but to our friends. All but went to war over it. After our truce, we cut ties. My hopes was that she would avoid hurting anyone else. But deep down, I knew I would have to kill her eventually. In the name of justice. She did terrible things, but so did I. We did some of them together. Why wasn't I capable or culpable then? Why did I blame her for something we did to each other? You think it's regrettably natural to blame the person in front of you when you get hurt, especially when the real problem is too big and esoteric to stab through the chest with a sword cane. I'm just going to take a little bit of a pause here. Really didn't expect sadness to come out of this. Because I was really wanting to... Because I thought Vriska's ended up kind of sad, but I should have known that since these two have been so close together, the same issues might come up, or some similar issues come up. Or at least they're linked, so... I honestly think the best thing is if you're going through issues like Treizi or like what Vriska was in the last round, please listen to the message I had at the end of the Vriska route. I was in a really, really bad time when I said it, but I still think it's very, very fitting for what happened with Vriska's route. And honestly, now that I'm better, still not the best in the world, but better, and thinking somewhat straighter, I hope. But I still think that message holds true even to what Treizi's going through here. If you want a gist of it, basically it's trying to get help if you need it. But I guess another message here, and I'm not going to try and ramble on too much about messages, is that don't be too hard on yourself. And I guess, again, that's something I need to learn on working on myself. It's not always the easiest, but Honestly, this game has been teaching me a lot, surprisingly, just as much as it's been some fun to actually record. And I hope you've been kind of learning from it too, those of you that are watching. Let's get back to it though. Vriska did what she did because she had to. So did I. We both deserve the revenge we wrought on each other. But we were all victims of the big picture. It made us what we are. Ensured we would do what we did. Every little injustice started there. And when we fight, whoever painted that picture smiles and laughs. Because they know they've already won. She sits up on a little straighter, and you feel your spine follow suit almost on its own. Fuck that! Treizi slips out of your arms and stands up, pulling you to your feet with her. Her entire demeanor has changed. She's practically vibrating with determination. Take me to Vriska's hive. I'm assuming that's a thing you can do? Oh, yeah, that's a thing you can do. Your mind is still buzzing, but talking to Vriska has calmed that storm just enough for you to focus. As you take her hand, you spare a last look around this bizarre, impossible space. You still feel watched, but it's distant now. Maybe even approving? You have so many questions, but those will have to wait. Right now, you've got work to do. Zap. I still like my sound effects better. Before you even see where you've landed, Treizi marches up to a very surprised Vriska and backs her up against the wall. She stops just a few feet away, looking up at the cerulean spider girl with anger on her face. Despite their indifference in stature, Vriska is intimidated? You caught her off guard, and Treizi is unflinching. They're doing faces. The room is completely silent. You see Treizi clenching her fists. She looks one wrong move away from unleashing hell. This isn't quite what you had in mind when you brought her here. And you really hope your new friends aren't about to fight each other. Something in the air changes. You aren't entirely sure what's happening, but something is definitely happening. And you figure it's best you just cross your arms and pretend you don't exist. Treizi's posture softens. Her hands relax as she breathes a soft sigh. Vriska straightens up, letting her own tension dissipate. You guess you're feeling a little less tense yourself? When Vriska cracks a hesitant smile, Treizi leans back. She's sniffing the air intensely, which feels like a good sign. Everyone's getting a little looser, a little more casual. Definitely an improvement. Then they both start cackling, slapping their knees like they just heard the most hilarious knock-knock joke in history. You'd sure like to get in on the joke too, but you figure it would probably be rude to ask. And then they hug. I mean, that's kind of a weird hug kind of thing for this, but you're not exactly sure what just happened, but you figure hugging is a powerful platonic friend activity when in the worst of times. Even in the worst of times. Bleh. It's gotten you this far, after all. Yeah. That's all this is. Just two gal pals hugging it out. It's so sweet you could cry. When they separate... When they separate, again, sorry, another work thing. When they separate, treizi meanders over to a window overlooking the pit where Vriska's Lucis used to live. So, she's dead? Oh yeah, I'm really broken up about it too. Vriska winks at you. No, you're not. No, I'm not. Treizi turns and leans up against the windowsill. You have a lot to make up for. That's why I've been messaging you. I want to apologize, okay? I don't want your apology, Vriska. I have a lot to make up for, too. There's definitely some kind of something going on in this room. That's causing my throat to tingle like a thing. You wonder what went down between these girls that they can't even talk about what they're talking about. What do you mean? There's so much injustice in the world. Every drop of delicious, innocent, and painfully extracted blood on this planet is just paint for the fishy fucks up top to play with. And the worst part is that we're complicit. Revel in it, even. I revel in it. Treizi, are you... They could never make this violence good, so they had to make it fun. And I had so much fun hurting people. Who knows how long I would have gone on like that if it hadn't been for our weird invasive species of friend here. Treizi wipes her tear from her cheek and smiles at you. And you feel a huge wave of relief. Friends. With a former murder lawyer in training. You sure know how to pick 'em. For once, Vriska, I want to revel in something good. I want them to feel the razor edge of their own justice. I want their blood to stain the dirt beneath my feet, like the pathetic, wriggling insects they are. But I can't do it alone. I don't want to do it alone. You watch as Treizi takes in a measured breath for just a moment. You can imagine her standing in a room full of determined people. Just behind the person everyone else would call leader, smiling a wicked smile. She's not the one who commands the stage, you think. She's the one who controls the spotlight. She's the one who knows what happens next. I'm not sure what we are together anymore, Vriska. I've hated you. I've felt a lot of things. What I know is that we're dangerous. And fate seems determined to make us rivals. That almost sounds fun, doesn't it? We could fight over the rest of our lives if we wanted to. Each the scourge of the other until one or both of us wind up dead. They'd tell stories about us for a long time. But I don't want that to happen anymore. Do you? No. You haven't known Vriska very long, but this is a side of her you've never seen. You don't many people have. It's actually really awkward. You should probably go, but your prying curiosity and desire for interpersonal closure keeps you glued to the spot. How many times is this game going to basically be me? We had the right idea in the wrong circumstances. But this time, I think we can really do something together. So let's try this again. Vriska, Will you be my scourge sister? Oh my. Yeah, obviously. Good. Then let's go fucking go to that from. Let me redo that. Then let's get to fucking work. There we go. They share a look that you can't quite read, but you get the feeling that was a resounding success. Scourge Sisters unite! Yay. I mean, honestly, I'm kind of glad that they're back together in a good sense now, too, because there was some good in the Homestuck when they got together in the afterlife, but it's a little different here, if that makes sense. But that is the end of Treizi's route. And I guess if there's a message with this one, I'm going to try not to go too long on a message this time, is don't blame yourself. And usually trying to talk out the situation seems to be the better situation in the end. And maybe do take responsibility for yourself and what you do, if that makes sense. But that's a short message, I think, that this adventure has taught us. This is the end of the video. If you liked it, please put a like on the video. If you want to see more of my content, please subscribe and ring that notification bell so you don't miss anything I upload. And as always, I'll see you tomorrow.